Good morning. Welcome back. Welcome. Alrighty. How's everyone doing this morning? Yep, that's all I'm watching today. Bed Bath & Beyond, Nikola, AMC, GameStop, Peloton, Riot, Mara, Lucid, Workhorse, Beyond Meat, Carvana, Palantir. Those are all my stocks on watch today. Tilray, yep, DocuSign, to the moon. MOAS is coming. Wish. Oh boy. Good morning. Welcome back. It's a joke, Ghost Rider. It is a joke. Dry ships, yep. Drys, Grys, 1-800-Flowers. Yeah, we'll look at Adobe today. That's something we're looking at for Chef. I forgot to look at that last night for him. So, how's everyone doing? Hope you had a good day yesterday. Yesterday, price action was trash, honestly. I came out with a really good day, actually. One of my best trading days of the month, which is sort of weird when I look back at the day. I took two really big trades. I took Tesla to the downside, and then I took a late day SPX trade, and that was it. So 2 nice trades and a nice day, but overall the market was pretty difficult yesterday, pretty much just chopped in a channel. I mean, if you traded the channel, you probably had some opportunities. But overall, just not like a real nice trend day that with some really nice opportunities. So hopefully today we see a little bit of a different day. Hopefully not a choppy day like we saw yesterday on the ES. The NASDAQ, though, all right, is what we're starting to see. As you guys can see in the title of the live stream, the NASDAQ is starting to move by itself a little bit. The NASDAQ is starting to move by itself, starting to diverge from the S&P 500. So this is something to watch out for. This is something to pay attention to. It might make trading a little bit difficult because, for example, let's say you're looking at trading NVIDIA or Tesla, or let's say a stock like Google or Amazon, a tech stock. And let's say that the S&P 500 looks pretty weak and you're not sure you want to go long. If the NASDAQ's doing its own thing, you might miss out on that opportunity by watching the S&P. So this could get a little bit I don't want to say more difficult, but it could get a little bit more tricky if the S&P and the NASDAQ are showing us 2 different things, right? Typically when I trade, I'm looking at the S&P and NASDAQ to sort of line up. I'm looking for the futures to give me confidence on entering a position. But if I'm seeing 2 different things on the NASDAQ and the ES, I'm going to have to make some decisions that I typically don't have to make about which one do I trust, which futures contract is running the show here. It's going to make things a little bit interesting. That's if we continue to see this divergence, because we're definitely seeing it. The NASDAQ has started to move higher, broke out of a channel yesterday where the S&P 500 pretty much just stayed sideways. So the reason for that, obviously, is because banks and energy, right? Bank stocks and energy stocks yesterday were very weak. Banks and energy is a big part of the S&P 500. So if you're getting weakness on banks, getting weakness on energy, you're going to get weakness on the S&P. Whereas that does not weigh down the NASDAQ as much because the NASDAQ does not have those in the index. So, yeah, something to watch out for, right? Something to watch out for. Something to definitely pay attention to. So, let's get started here. Welcome back. Thank you guys for being here. Hopefully everyone had a good day yesterday. Hopefully you're having a good morning today. It's Thursday, almost the weekend. Should be hopefully a nice end of the week. And yeah, let's do it. So today, 3/16 economic earnings calendar. I think the only thing we have to watch out for is jobless claims today. Jobless claims and then some housing stuff. No, don't want to subscribe. Okay, that's a really bad ad that we have today. Why? Take that off. Why this ad? That's a bad ad. Sad. All right. Thursday, March 16th. Initial jobless claims, right? 8:30 a.m. Jobless claims 205 to 211. 205's expectation or the forecast. Previous was 211. We'll see what happens. Today on jobless claims, we'll see how that sets up, how the market reacts to it. Import price index, housing starts, building permits, Philadelphia Fed manufacturing. Some economic data here today. I don't really think it's going to be too major today, but we can see if there's anything off that jobless claims. So keep an eye on that. Jobless claims at 8:30. Friday, March 17th, that's tomorrow. Industrial production, capacity utilization, U.S. leading economic index, consumer sentiment, really nothing there. Maybe consumer sentiment causes a little bit of a movement, but pretty much over, right? The big stuff was yesterday and Tuesday. So that's that. Thanks for joining the live stream, Mildred. I appreciate that. Welcome. Is the ECB doing something today? Yeah, that's right. Why is that not on here? Let me get that. Let me get a better economic calendar. I think Forex Factory has a good economic calendar. Yeah, here we go. So here's like around the world. So unemployment, that's the jobless claims, really, right here. This is us, USD. The red is meaning the impact of it. And then 9/15 monetary policy from the ECB. So 9/15, 9:45. So we can be a little cautious of that to see what that does. Obviously, Europe, European banks have been pretty important the last 2 days. So let's see what happens there. All right. 9/15, 9:45. Watch out for that ECB stuff. All right. So that's that. Meta. We'll look at Adobe. That had earnings. We'll look at that one. Meta strength. Meta outperformance yesterday. Again, a really nice hold on Meta of that 180 level. We talked about this one. What a move on that. Semiconductors, however you want to say it. Strong still. AMD strong. NVIDIA still strong. Those are still going higher. So let's see what happens on semis today. Microsoft got that 260 channel break. This is something I'm going to watch today. Netflix broke over 300. Going to watch this one. Coinbase at a big supply level. Let's see what happens on the crypto side today. Coinbase is at a major supply that I want to watch out for. Apple at 153. Interesting here. And then we're going to look at the XLE, XLF. All right. So that's our schedule for today. And let's start with the futures. If you guys could take a second. Got about 1,000 people here. Let's press that like button. We'll look at Tesla. I just don't really like much on Tesla today, so that's why I don't have it on there, but we'll look at it. Press the like button. We do not live trade on this live stream here. We live trade in the community, the trading community. All right, so hourly chart on the NASDAQ. We got to get a little bit more time here on the NASDAQ. And we can see that the NASDAQ has sort of diverged from the S&P 500. And I can show you that real quick by going to Quick Studies, doing Compare With, and comparing it with the ES. So if we compare it with the ES, right, look at this divergence. Since, right, we were matching here back in February, right? You can see the ES is the white and the NASDAQ is the red and green, right? And look at this difference here. So you have a pretty consistent market, both ES and NASDAQ, all through January, all through February, majority of February, right? Pretty much matching to the T every single time. And then look at what's starting to happen here. You got a big drop here on the ES, starting to diverge, right? This is starting to push higher, and the ES is starting to go sideways. So this is obviously because of banks and energy that's weighing down this S&P 500. So pay attention to this, right? Pay attention to this. This is what you're starting to see. You can see it was very close together until about, it starts to detach itself maybe around middle of February, right? Middle of February starts to detach itself from the NASDAQ. So watch that, right? Here's the NASDAQ. You guys can see right here. Yeah, we already talked about that, Sam. I see it. You're typing 1,000 times already. Yes, we talked about how the banks and energy are not in the NASDAQ, and so it will not affect the NASDAQ. You can see right here. Previous lows, right? 12,460. Previous lows right here on the NASDAQ. 12,460. Previous low right here. 12,460. Previous high right here. And you guys can see this is where the NASDAQ is rejecting slightly this morning. So we cannot go long on the NASDAQ into 12,460. Right? We cannot go long on the NASDAQ into 12,460. We can clearly see the previous supply that steps up at this level. Previous lows, previous lows, previous high, and as of this morning, another potential rejection point. So we are not going long into 12,460 today. It just does not make any sense. So we can't do that, right? So that's our first watch. Do not go long into this 12,460, 12,500 area. Now, on the flip side, where can we look to see if this market pulls back and holds? What I would be looking for is a hold of this 12,300 to 12,350, a hold of this 12,300 to 12,350, a hold of this consolidation here, a hold of this previous high here, a hold of this previous high here. All right, so if I go down into the 30-minute chart, you have a pretty tight range this morning, and you really need to be careful here because an early trade before waiting for confirmation today is pretty much just a total guess, right? Because if you short too early today, you could short into this demand and you could see this happen. If you long into this supply too early, you could see this happen, right? And so this area between 11,300 and 350 to around 12,460 to 12,500 is really an area where people are going to make decisions before they probably should, and they're probably going to get faked out in this area. So I'm really not that interested in trading in a 100-point range here on the NASDAQ. You guys can see supply here, demand here, previous high, market's trading above it. So we have to respect that as a potential demand zone. So for me, if we start to see demand step up here, you can maybe try that long into 460, except you have to know that that's a short-term play. That would be a very short-term scalp. If you start to see supply step up at 460 this morning, you could try that short into the 350, right, as a short-term scalp, respecting the channel high and channel low. For me, I'd rather see this, right? I'd rather wait for something that's a little bit more, potentially, a potential larger move, something that's a little bit more confirming. And for me, it would be a break and hold above 460 or a break and hold below 300. That would be really what I'm looking for either direction today. All right. So watch these zones on the NASDAQ ES. I would not get too active in here. If you want to try to trade this 100-point channel, you can. But I would really recommend to wait for the market to make a move outside of this little zone. Wait for it to either lose this, turn this level back into a rejection for downside, or for it to turn this previous rejection here into support for more upside. That's what I would be looking for. All right, that's the NASDAQ. ES. So the ES is, it's the same thing, right? It's the same thing for the last 4 days. Channel, right? And we have to respect the channel. If you haven't respected the channel, then, you've probably been on the wrong side of it. So rejections, demand, and demand. Even yesterday, as things were looking really, really bloody in the pre-market, right? Looking really ugly here, going straight down 2.5% in the overnight session. Even after that, the market held demand and pushed higher once again. So it just shows you that no matter how aggressive we move into these levels, no matter how strong we push to the upside into supply, or how strong we push to the downside into demand, if you are not respecting these levels, the market's faking you out, right? This is a fake out. Any late bears yesterday that were trying to buy short at open for downside continuation into demand lost money. Any late bulls that bought calls into supply thinking that we would continue, all right, through this level, lost. No matter how aggressive this move has been, respecting the channel has been the right thing to do. And it will continue to be until this breaks. And it has to be what you look for. So today, unfortunately, you are in the exact middle of this channel. I think it's probably just about, you're right at the 50% of the channel. So today's difficult, right? You have to probably be patient for a test of either side to get a real trade. If you take a trade in the middle of the channel, it's going to be a little bit less confirming, a little bit less confidence there in the middle of the channel. I would rather be trading at demand lows and supply highs, right? That's where I'd rather be setting up trades because I know I have the channel on my side. The only thing that I could give you today, the only thing that I could, a little bit of an insight into a shorter term level would be this 39.10. So if you guys were on the live stream yesterday, we talked about the 39.10 rejection point. We called this beautifully, and we caught this in the Discord yesterday morning. We were saying, all right, let's watch for this 39.10 rejection. I know a lot of you guys took this this scalp to the downside off 39.10. This was the previous highs here, the previous lows from Tuesday, and we moved right into it on yesterday morning, and we rejected it. All right, you can see right there. Now, late day, we turned that level into support. So look at this flip right here. I hope you can see this. I hope you're getting what I'm putting down here, right? Previous lows into a rejection, into a late day support. And then look at what's going on this morning. So if you want to have that equilibrium line, if you want to have the middle of the seesaw, the line in the sand today, that is 39.10 on the ES. If you are above 39.10 on the ES, I would not look to short the market. If you are below 39.10, you could try that short to the downside. If you are above 39.10, I would only look for longs, right? Until you obviously hit supply, right? Of course, until you hit that supply. If you really want to get active here in the morning, right? If you are interested in playing the move to either side, if you are interested in playing this or playing this, then you need to watch 39.10 today because that is your line in the sand. If you could imagine a seesaw, that is the ball in the middle of the seesaw, right? And then it's sort of, I don't know how to draw a seesaw. So it's gonna tilt to whatever way this is on, right? So 39.10, that's your line in the sand. If you're above 39.10, I would not look to short into it, right? I would probably say the market tries to hold and maybe tries for that supply. If the market is below 39.10, right, I would assume the market tries to hit that demand down at 38.70. All right? So that's how I'd watch the ES today. 39.70 supply, 39.10 middle line in the sand, 38.70 demand below. All right? So that's the ES. SPY. SPY's the same thing. The line in the sand, I'm going to delete that for a second, but I'm going to put that line back up. One moment. The line in the sand here on the SPY is 388, right? Right in this 388, 387.50 level. You guys can see previous high, previous low, right? Previous high, previous low, previous high, into a late day demand, right at 387, 388, right? So that's very important. Supply, 393, 394, which is also the 200 SMA. I'll go ahead and pop that up. All right. You guys can see right here. Supply, 200 SMA, 100 SMA, right at 393.50, 394. To the downside, 384 demand. All right. So you have supply, demand, middle of the road, 387, 388. All right. That's what we're watching here. All right. Channel trade. It's been a channel for 4 days now, and you continue to look for the same thing. All right. Dow Jones. Same thing. Channel trade, right? Supply, demand, respect the channel. I really don't have much for you here. It's just a really, really choppy channel. If you're in the lower half, I mean, this looks like a pretty decent rejection area here. 32.2, right? Rejections, 32,200. Watch that area. But overall, the Dow's just completely sideways. And then on the Russell, pretty much the same thing. Demand at 1730, supply at 1830. 100-point range on the Russell. Don't love it, honestly. Don't love it. Don't love much about it. So keep an eye on these channels. Everything's in a channel. Dow, ES, Russell, all in a channel. The only thing that's not in a channel is the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ with a little bit of outperformance, potentially moving higher over this 12,350 level. All right. So we got about 8 minutes till jobless claims and some housing data, but let's go ahead and start jumping into some of the individual stocks. Let's just go ahead and get Tesla out of the way and talk about this one. Tesla, I don't really love today. I think to be confident on Tesla, you need to see a push above 185.50, 186. So if I go and zoom out here, let me get a little bit more time. So if I zoom in on this 30-minute, I don't love this chart on Tesla. You guys can see we had previous lows, previous consolidation, previous highs right here. So really have no interest in being long Tesla until I see this, right? This would be the long entry and the long play that I'd be interested in. A break and hold above 185.50, 186. You can see we're trading below that today. Price action has been really choppy in this channel. I would pretty much just watch. We go to the 15-minute because you'll see it a little bit better here. Here's what I would watch on Tesla today. I would watch potential demand at 179 right here, all this and this right here, also this. I would watch for potential demand at 179, and if it breaks that, I would definitely watch out for demand at 176. You have 176 demand from yesterday, 176 previous rejections here, and you have the 100 SMA here at 176 as well. So do I really love a Tesla trade in this area? Not really. I would rather see maybe a break and hold above on a strong market for upside. Maybe you can look for a rejection play of 176, right? Something like this. A little rejection of 186, right? Little rejection play of that. But overall, not a big fan of Tesla's chart here today. I'm going to watch 179, 176, and 186. Those are the levels I'm going to see if there's any direction off those levels. That's really all I'm going to look for. All right. So I like Meta a little bit more, right? So Meta's pushing higher, but Meta just popped into a pretty major supply level. So watch out for this. This is the daily chart, right, on Meta. And this area over here where we rejected pretty harshly in the past, this is back in May and June of last year, was 202. So $202. The rejections here. These rejections here are pretty major on the daily chart. And if we go to the 30-minute, you guys can see right here, look at where we're rejecting this morning, 202. So you can see that 202 level might be a little difficult for Meta. I would not be getting too aggressive on the long side into this 202 area. I would wait for a retest, wait for a pullback, wait for opportunity on the downside to try to maybe look for that upside once again. So that 202 level is big. I'm not going to be long into 202 on Meta. What am I going to look for? I'm going to look for either a retest of 195, which is these previous highs here, and this previous little high here. So I'll look for a retest of 195. Or, right, if we break under 195, I will look for a retest of 189, 190. But I need a pullback, right? I need a pullback on Meta to be long. I'm not going to long it into a daily chart supply. I will look for a pullback to 195. And if that starts to hold, I will look to see if that trades again. But for now, big push in the after hours due to TikTok news. I think you wait for a pullback here, guys. I don't think you want to get too involved. I would love to see this little retest of yesterday's highs and then a little bit of a hold here for another push. But be very careful just longing this thing. I wouldn't want to short into 195 because this is, it's like you're just shorting it on the first big green day. I need to see I mean, if you really start to see the weakness, maybe you could try that. But Meta being the strongest stock on the market right now, arguably, right? Meta is probably the only stock that's up like this in the pre-market right now. I don't think I'm going to be... I don't know if I'm going to be, just the first one in line to short the strongest name this morning. All right. So that's Meta. Semiconductors. NVIDIA. So this is very interesting. NVIDIA. 15-minute. Look at this. So right here on NVIDIA, we have a previous double top high around this 242 level. You guys can see right here, 242, 242. We have, and a high here from yesterday, 242. We have a previous triple top high that's turning into a demand this morning. Look at this hold of 242 this morning. If NVIDIA is above 242, you cannot short this stock. You would be shorting into this previous high that is proving itself as a new support level this morning. Shorting into this level is very dangerous. I would only look for longs if you are holding above 242. So if I go to the hourly chart, you can see right here, this is even more of a level if you zoom out. You have 242 here, 242 here, 242 all right here, and you can see we broke it, we pulled back, we held it. If NVIDIA is above 242, do not look to the short side. What I would watch is you could watch this wick high, right? 244.50s. You could watch that wick high just to be a little bit cautious. Maybe you don't want to long it into this wick high right here. But I would say if NVIDIA is holding above 242, then yeah, I would only look for upside here, especially if the NASDAQ stays strong. So let's see what happens. 242 demand, that's going to be a big watch for me today. I would be careful of the, obviously the extreme high here at 244.54. Obviously, that's going to be a little bit of supply, but I will definitely be watching NVIDIA to maintain this 242 today. Let's see what happens. That thing's been strong, and so has AMD. AMD has been wild. Let's go to the data real quick before we get into AMD. Let's see what we get here. 5-minute chart on the ES. We got our line in the sand. We got our supply. We got our channel low demand. Let's see what this does. All right. Let's see what the jobless claims does. A bunch of nothing. Jobless claims 192 versus 205. So less jobless claims. That is bearish. Technically. How's the market moving off it? Not really at all. Market's not really moving off of it. Jobless claims is, if you have less jobless claims, that means more people are working. That's bearish. That's technically, it's bearish. But who knows? All right, who the hell knows? I'm tired of trying to predict what happens on these things, guys. It's a waste of your time. I've said this thousands of times. Yeah, no movement. No movement. That's pretty wild. Not even like any reaction. Huh. Yeah, I guess you could say it's pretty much flat. Like the number's flat too. Yeah, seems like the market doesn't give you know what. So Yeah, next news we got coming out is ECB at 9:15, 9:45. So we'll see what happens. All right, let's continue. AMD. A little bit of upside here on AMD, but this chart has been pretty rock solid. Look at this 4-hour. Look at this little 4-hour break and retest on AMD. Look at this. Previous high, previous high. Look at this retest on AMD. This is pretty nice stuff. I did not catch this one. I wasn't even looking for it yesterday. Previous high here on AMD. Previous high here on AMD. Break and retest of 86. That's some pretty strong stuff right there. If we go to the 5-minute chart, you can see it's right here. 86, right? Break, hold, and then just a nice rally. So what are we looking for today? Right? It's pretty obvious. What are we looking for today? This. All right? That's what we're looking for today. We're looking for the retest of 88, 88.30 area, right in here. This is our retest. This is where we want to look to go long. We need that pullback. So we need that pullback to that 88 area to give ourselves some margin, to give ourselves a good risk to reward. All right? If you take calls before the retest, then your risk has to be, you have to risk down to here. This has to be your risk. If this is not your risk, then you're not taking a trade that makes any sense, to be quite honest. Because there is no reason to be bearish if it's still above the previous highs. So if you long AMD, let's just say at open, and you get out before 88 breaks, then you're simply just exiting the position because you are down on it. That's the only reason you're exiting. Not because of what the chart's telling you, but because you're just in drawdown. So instead of sitting through drawdown, how about we just stay patient and wait for the retest? And then if that retest shows us something, if we start to see this baby hold, then we have this as our risk. Right? Now this is our risk. I'd much rather be in a trade with that being our risk than this being our risk. All right? So that is why you look for break and retests. So today, I stay patient. I wait for the pullback to 88, 88.30. If it holds, I look for the long. If not, then, maybe you look for a break and retest of the pre-market highs. If it gets really aggressive, right, you can look for a long, maybe a retest long of like 90.4, something like that. But yeah, I would want to see that pullback of 88.30 today on AMD. All right. Let's continue. Microsoft. Nice channel break on Microsoft. If I go to the hourly charts, you know what? Actually, let's go 4-hour. 4-hour chart on Microsoft. And you guys remember, we were talking about this channel. We were talking about how all the SMAs were stacking up, right? We were saying, look at all the SMAs. 150, 220, all SMAs right here. Crazy. They're all stacked up in the same channel. So that's interesting. I haven't really seen that on many stocks with all these SMAs sort of stacking up. Nice break of this channel. You guys can see right here. We had that 260 channel break yesterday with some really strong volume too. So 260 channel break, really interesting. And if we get a pullback, right, I'm going to see if that wants to continue. Here are some of my retest levels I'm watching today. First, I'm watching 265, which is this previous high here, this little consolidation, this little rejection here. I'm going to watch to see how 265 acts this morning. If we lose 265, I am looking for the retest of 260, which is not only here in the short term, but also these previous lows right here, right? You can see previous low, previous little rejection, previous rejection, previous rejection. So if we get a break under 265, I'm looking for that 260 retest, and I'm looking to see what happens there. All right, so let's see what happens on Microsoft today. Nice break of a channel, 260 to 245. We had that channel break. We talked about this one. Big break over 260. Let's see where this retest comes in. Either 265 or 260 is what I'm watching today. Netflix. So Netflix got a little bit of juice here. I'm interested in this. So if I look at this hourly chart, you have a little bit of a supply level up here at 308 to be careful of, right? You have these previous lows right here. We got to be careful of that supply. So watch out for that. That's our 308 supply level. So watch out for that one this morning. If we reject that, which I would love to see, and we get a pullback to 300, that would be very interesting for me. All right, if we get a pullback to 300, turn this previous triple top into a new support, that would be an interesting break and retest on Netflix. So going to keep an eye on Netflix today. It broke out of this 300 channel, right? This was important. It was stuck in here for 3 trading days between 290 and 300. It broke out of that. So there should be continuation here, all right, to either direction. There should at least be some price action is what I'm trying to state, all right? There should be some price action going on here after this channel break. So this channel break is good for a trader, either direction. It's just good to see a channel break because we know there might be some price action. So I'm going to see if we can get a rejection of 308 for a 300 retest. If we don't, all right, if this thing just starts to push, I'll look to see if 308 can turn into a new support for maybe that push into 314. So 308, 314, and 300. Ideally, I'd love this pullback to 300. That would give me the most confidence. All right. Coinbase. This could be really nice if crypto rejects a little bit today. Keep an eye on crypto today. If you see that crypto reject, look at this Coinbase chart. It could be watched on both directions, of course. You guys can see, look at all this supply up here at 67. Look how many times that Coinbase has rejected this 67. And then look at how many times it has found demand at 59. All right, so you can clearly see the channel that's been in progress here. Do you get a 67 supply rejection today? Or is this the time that Coinbase actually breaks above, holds above, and continues? All right, we'll have to keep an eye out for that. But clearly, we are trading at supply again. You guys can see a little bit of this reaction right now in the pre-market. We're trading at this supply once again. I would potentially look to short this off this supply if I see a little bit of crypto weakness step in. So, yeah, I'm going to watch this one today. 67 supply on Coinbase. All right. So that's that. Apple. Whoops, I'm typing in the Discord. Apple, 153 supply. Big level here, right? Let me go to the hourly chart. You guys can see. Look at this mess on Apple. Look at this mess. So you guys can see rejections, 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 all at 153. Heavy supply level. And then demand stepped up big at 150. 150, 150, 150, 150, 20 SMA. So that demand down there is stepping up. But so is this supply. So you got to watch out for this 153. If the market's weak today, maybe we can look for that fade into 150 again. That's a possible trade off supply. Look for that exact same trade to the downside. If the market's weak, that could be really nice setup today that I'm definitely watching. If the market is strong today, if we turn 153 into a new support, can't talk today. I would look for that continuation, right? So either way, 153, major level to watch on Apple. You guys can see we're definitely getting stuck there again this morning. If the market fades today, right, this could be a very nice downside on Apple. So I would be watching this one. Let's see what happens at 153. Let's go to Amazon real quick. Amazon, Google. I know you guys probably want to look at these. I saw some people talking about them. Amazon has just not interested me lately. I really have not liked the price action for like the last month. You guys can see Amazon has been doing basically nothing for a month. So I've been staying away from Amazon. I really don't like the chart. I do respect the 93 demand, right? You can see the 93 demand here, and you can see the 93 demand has held up once again. So you might get a push off that. You might get a little continuation. But do I want to trade this into supply highs? Not really, guys. I really don't care to do that on my Thursday afternoon. Don't care to get sweaty and start trading calls into supply. So I would be careful at 98, 97, 98. Yeah, maybe there's a few points into that. Is that a risk to reward play that I'm really interested in? Not at all. Not at all. Right? This is my reward, and this is my risk. That is a 1 to 4 I'm not interested in that risk reward. Maybe if Amazon proves itself and starts to break over this supply, then maybe I'll look for that, this hold into like 104. But at this point, I'm not going to trade upside into supply on Amazon, right into this sort of previous high, previous low action. Not interested there. Google is a little bit more interesting if it can either reject or if I need to see I need to see a reaction at 97.50, 97. Either a really nice supply rejection here on Google of a previous rejection point, previous support level, right? Either a really nice rejection of 97.50, or if Google can hold above 97.50, I think a pretty quick shot up to 101, right? This area here doesn't really showcase much rejection points, right? It's just straight down, straight up, straight down, straight up, straight down. There's not like any kind of basing in this area. The only base was up here at 101. So if Google does show strength today, if the NASDAQ's strong, maybe a move over 97.50 for a push into 101. That's interesting as well. But you can't do that until you get above 97.50. If you do it before you get above 97.50, you are asking to get pile drived off of supply. And we don't want to be pile drived off of supply. All right. Let's go XLE. Let's just take a look at the weakness on this energy and this financial sector. You guys can see right here. Here is the energy sector. You can see really strong downside here. The thing that I'm going to say about this, guys, which I'm not going to get too much into technicals on the energy sector, is this is more of a fundamentally driven move. So do technicals matter here? Somewhat. But I think the fundamentals of this move are much more important. This 77 level looks pretty important. You guys can see right here, previous highs, previous highs, previous highs, right? Previous low. So this 77 looks pretty important here at on the energy sector. So careful on that 77 XLE. That's a big level there. XLF. If the XLF stays below yesterday's or Monday's lows, I would expect more downside on the banks. If the XLF cannot get above this previous high, right? Look at how it's rejecting that. If you cannot get above that previous high on the XLF, I would not look for bank upside, right? Previous lows, and you're not even able to get above that. That is still showing a lot of weakness. If you cannot get over a previous low, you are still very weak, all right? So watch out for that. 3150, 3160. If you stay under that, banks should stay weak. GS could be a nice little reshort here off 314 today, right? Look at this low and look at this retest. If those banks stay weak, I like that GS short again, right? At this 314 level. JP Morgan 128, right? This is huge. It tried to hold 128 yesterday. It's around 127.60 area. It tried to hold on to it for dear life yesterday, and we'll see what it does today. If I go to the 30-minute chart, you guys can see right here. This is the 30-minute chart, and if you break this little 128, 127.50 area, right, you might get some more downside if the banks stay weak, of course. Let's go Adobe for Chef. I know Chef wanted to look at this one. If the market's weak, this could be a fade, Chef, off of like this supply up here. Where are we looking at here? Yeah, look at this. Hold on. This whole area could be pretty tough on Adobe, up to 360. Right? You got previous lows, previous highs all in here. Previous high already here, right? Be careful of this 360, 350 area on Adobe. If the market weakens, this could just be a nice little rejection play. So keep an eye on this 350, 360 area on Adobe. All right, I got a speed round in me, but I'm not going to do it until we get 1,000 likes. I just won't. I refuse. If you guys could press the like button, we got 1,600 people here. We should have no problem getting another 400 likes on the stream. I'm going to take a little sip of water. Can we get 1,000 likes by 8:50? Let's take a quick recap at what the ES is doing here. I know you guys said the ES is sort of moving lower a little bit. Let's see what's going on. Yeah, we're right at that line in the sand again. We're right at the line in the sand. We're right there. Previous highs, previous lows. We're right at it. That's the line. And then you can see this is your NASDAQ retest coming in. Right? Previous highs, retest. So, yeah. 39.10. Nice little level there to watch out for. And then the NASDAQ, 12,350 area. 12,350, 12,300. That's a difficult level in there. Looks like we're having trouble. Looks like we're having some trouble on the 1,000 likes. I don't have a bracket for March Madness. I executed my SBNY shares, or my options. So I have 100. I'm short 100 shares of SBNY at 60. They got exercised. So we wait for this to open now. We wait for this to open, which is pretty nice. I'm very excited for this. I should make depends on what it opens at, but hopefully like $6,000. That would be really fun. All right. Well, looks like we're going to have to head out. NASDAQ 12,350, ES 39.10. That should be enough. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the stream. Watch these levels. Oh, we might get it. All right, what do we got today? Speed round. Adobe we did, FRC, CRM, billing, Ulta shop, no earnings place. All right, let's do it. Speed round, real quick. FRC, I don't even know what to tell you. It's dead, I guess. I have no idea. I'm not looking at FRC. Good luck. CRM. Ooh, what's that? That's a little retest hold on CRM there. That's not a bad look. That's not a bad look. Still not at 1,000 likes. But I'll do it anyway. This is not a bad look right here. Look at this little hold of 178, 180 on CRM. That's interesting. Keep an eye on that. This little retest that just came in. Previous high, nice retest hold. This was also that previous high from back here. So, yeah, keep an eye on CRM off that 180 area. That's not a bad watch. Boeing. Yeah, Boeing's had a lot of trouble up here, guys. Even with the news, a lot of bullish news on Boeing, this supply just keeps getting rejected. So be a little cautious on that. We need a little bit more time here on Boeing. I would probably look for Boeing back to like this 190, honestly. Back to like these lows here, and then back to this consolidation. That's probably where I'd look for Boeing back to before maybe looking for another long. Maybe look for like a 190 hold to step up. But if you want to short it, you got to short it up at supply. You can't short it now. Ulta, I don't know what to tell you about Ulta. Ulta does not go down. If you guys want to just like have statistics on your side, like if you want to try to like a statistics trade, please, before I say this, this is not recommended. I am not recommending you do anything I'm about to say. This is a total joke. I'm just messing around here. If you want to have statistics on your side, just buy Ulta every week. Buy calls on Ulta every week. Because more weeks than not, Ulta is green, right? If we just look at this chart, this is the weekly chart on Ulta, and it has never gone down. So Ulta has had over the last 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21. Over the last 21 weeks, Ulta has had 5 red weeks. I don't get it. I don't know. I have no words. Anyways, Shopify. Yeah, watch out for this 44 on Shop. This is a huge level here, right? Look at this 44 on Shop. That's the clear level to watch, 44. All right, awesome. Watch 44 on Shop. We hit 1,000 likes, maybe. I don't know, whatever. Thank you guys so much for being here. Hope you guys enjoyed today's trading day. Watch out for those futures levels. And be smart out there. Let me know if you guys need anything. Shoot me DMs on Instagram if you need anything. I try to get back to them. Trust me, there's a lot, so I might not. But email me on my website if you want. Whatever you need. Let me know. Thank you guys for being here. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for liking it. We hit 1,000 likes. That's awesome. Yeah. All right. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.
Yeah.